everyone, welcome to MakeFest 2021. My name's Sean. You may know me more often from Decorate, but today we are here with MakeFest, and we are going to be here for the rest of half-term week from Tuesday to Friday, doing loads and loads of cool creative stuff. Today, this morning, we are joined by Halton Libraries. We have Rachel and Sarah. Hey, how's it going? Fantastic. And behind the scenes, we have, as always, our technical wizard. We have Ian Pye on the controls. Here he is. Sorry, Ian Pye on the technical controls. He said he didn't want to go on camera before, so I thought I would throw him on straight away. Nice one, Sean. I wasn't ready for that. And we also have on comments Paul. And you may get him, there you go, and you can also see in the back of shot there, we have Andrew doing our run and gun camera operated as well. So that's the team for today. Let's crack on and get into what we're doing today. So, hello, Rachel, how's it going?
Hi, not bad, thank you, how are you?
Fantastic, yes, so you want to let us know what we're going to be getting up to today?
So we've got an origami workshop today. So we're going to start with something simple. We'll be doing the swan to begin with, and then we're going to be doing the origami crane.
Brilliant, fantastic. I've never done any origami before, and in fact, with all of the activities that we're doing this week, I've never done any of them before, except for the reading one. I have done some reading, but never shared reading, so I'm looking forward to that as well. We're going to have a go at it along with you guys at home, so you can all have a laugh at how terrible mine are as we go about it. But you've been doing some of this. This isn't the first time that the library have been doing it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the project that you've been running at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. So Halton is the Liverpool City Region's Borough of Culture for 2021. And Halton Libraries are very excited to get involved in the project. So we've got 3 festivals throughout the year, and the first one is Let's Make, and then the first event for that is Let's Decorate. So that's where the origami cranes come into. So we've been giving out these origami crane packs via Choose and Collect from the web our libraries. So what people have been doing is been collecting the packs, and then they make the cranes at home, and then we've asked them to hang them in the windows just to decorate Halton.
Yeah. And I know that this has been really popular for a couple of reasons. The first one being how many images I've seen online of people that have been sharing the decorations that they've been making at home, the rainbow cranes in the windows and stuff like that, and it's been brilliant. Do you know how many packs that you've handed out in Halton?
I think we've had over 1,000, which has been really good. And we've been encouraging children to do little walks on the daily walk and count how many cranes they can see. So that was quite nice. Brilliant.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah. So great. We actually have. I think that Paul will have some cranes, some of the examples here on his computer in a second. Here we go. Yeah, so these are some of the ones that we've been seeing. So I think that one's at the library itself. That one was like a mobile that you'd made. Oh no, that's the tree one, isn't it, that you've done?
Tree one, it's in a wicker vase.
Fantastic. You want to show us some of the other ones there, Paul?
Yeah, so we've got some hanging in a window, which I kind of like. I like the different colours. It's like that rainbow effect, isn't it? Also got some of these as well that I've seen.
Oh, that's some of the book art. We're going to be looking at that in a little bit. Stay tuned for that. Your book art.
And some more in some windows, all like really brightly coloured, which is really good. I like all the really brightly coloured ones, and this one as well, looking over someone's garden.
Fantastic. So Paul is going to be monitoring your comments that come in today. So if you make some of the cranes during today's session, we'd really love to see your images that you are creating. If you would like to send them in to us, we are Halton MakeFest, and we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. So if you could send in any images that you make, but also if you could send them over to Halton Libraries as well. They have their own Facebook and Twitter, which I believe is just Halton Libraries. If you search for that in there, there you go. And we've got our hashtag HaltonMF21. So even if you don't tag us, you get that hashtag in there, we'll be able to find them. There they are. Look at that. It's like we've planned this already. We've got it all loaded up. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Ian. Fast on the buttons there to try and keep up with me. Cool. So without further ado, let's have a go at making one. So the libraries have pre-prepared a video which shows us all how to create our own origami. What's the first one that we're going to be looking at today, Rachel?
So we're going to be making the swan today. So that's the first, quite an easy start to origami.
So you may, as we've already talked about packs, you may already have your pack at home and good to go, which is great. If you don't worry. If you've got any paper whatsoever, Rachel is going to do a quick demonstration of how you can cut that to size so that you can do it, because it needs to be in a specific shape, doesn't it? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Okay,
yeah, over to you.
So just get an A4 piece of paper, and then all you have to do is, if you fold down the corner to make a triangle, and then just do a slight fold there, so then you should have it like that, and then you'll have this rectangle at the bottom. So if you just fold that over again, and then unfold it, and then you'll have that. I don't know if you can see the creases, and then all you need to do is cut the bottom bit, and then you'll have your square for your origami.
Fantastic. So we're looking for a square piece of paper, and that's a great way of being able to get a perfect square there. So that fold across the top, and then the chopping off with a little bit. I'm going to be cheating a little bit. I've got Rachel providing me with some very specific origami paper, which is already set up and ready to go. So if you've got that, that's great. But if you are making your own, fantastic. Yeah, follow those simple instructions by Rachel, and you'll be able to do it. I guess now is a really good time to point out that we are going to be, as well as going out live, fantastic to have you guys all tuning in and listening to us. We're also going to have these videos on demand. So if you need to rewatch something or you don't quite get it, don't worry. As soon as these videos finish, you'll be able to go on YouTube or our Facebook page and watch them again. So that's great. Oh, actually, I guess just before we jump into that video, Paul, have we had any shout outs or people from different places getting in contact?
We have. We've got quite a lot of people locally. So we've got a lot of people in the UK watching. We've got Rochdale. But just switching over to Facebook, we have somebody watching all the way from Germany.
Germany, fantastic.
Yeah,
so we're growing.
Gemma Morgan from Germany.
Fantastic. Keep letting us know where you're watching. If you're in the UK, let us know specifically. Yeah, let us know the town, let us know the city, so we can give you a bit of a shout out. It's fantastic that we've got makers from Halton this year going out around the world and going to it. So. What we're going to do now then is we are going to cut to our first video where I'm going to try my best to follow along and to make some origami along with you. So yeah, without further ado, let's have a watch of the first video.
The first model we're going to make today is a swan, because that's quite easy. It's a good way to start. So start with your square piece of paper, any colour, any size. I'm doing a nice big one. And just fold it into a large triangle by folding it across the diagonal like that. Then open it up, and we're just going to fold to the centre like that. Nice sharp crease from the point to there, and then exactly the same at the other side. You find with origami quite often you're doing the same thing just on the other side. So we make a kite shape like that. Then we're going to turn the whole thing over and fold in again to the centre. Get a nice straight line when you put it straight to make a very nice sharp crease. Turn it round and do exactly the same thing again. I hope I'm not going too fast for you. If I am, we could always do it again. Right, so you're left with the shape like that. And then we're going to just fold this point up to the top there so it matches up there, and make a nice flat crease there. Turn it over and fold it in half. And we've got a shape like that, and then all I'm going to do is pull this point up to make an angle there and squeeze that, and then bend it down like this to make the head, and there you have the swan.
Oh, I'm nearly there. How have you all got on at home? I'd say I'm pretty. I think I'm getting all right towards it. Oh, go on. I'm quite happy with that. There we go, Andy. What do you reckon to that? Yeah, pretty good. What's the reckon, ladies? Out of 10?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good attempt. It's if I lean it against the laptop a bit, it'll stand up. If I hold it there. I'm pretty happy with a first attempt. As we were saying, if you're all having a go at home, be sure to send us in your images and let us know how you're getting on. I'm actually now I'm looking at it. I'm not just in doing it. I'm pretty happy with how it's gone. So I'm gonna leave that there, maybe like that, and then there you go. That looks better. Not quite managed to get it to stand up on its own. Fantastic. So origami. We've got a few more things to make. What are we going to be doing next? What are we going to be moving on to next, Rachel?
So we've got the origami cranes now. So we're moving on to that one. So these are symbols of hope and good fortune. And if anyone can make, Japanese legend states, if anyone can make 1,000 cranes, then they'll get a wish granted.
Oh wow! Well, we've given out over 1,000 packs in Halton, so hopefully we've smashed that. Because I imagine the people have made a few of them as they're going through. So just before we move on to that, we've worked with Halton Libraries on loads of projects. Halton Library is normally the home of MakeFest. So last year we did the event there. If you were in earlier on, you might have seen a highlight video from some of the stuff that we did. But we've also done loads of other creative projects, and I believe that coming up in February we have a science festival. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's part of the Let's Make Festival again. It's a Science Makers event. So starting from yesterday, we're going to have a science making video every day for the next 14 days, so the end of February.
Fantastic. And is that library staff putting up those videos, or have you got people in, or a mix of both? Or?
Yeah, so it's going to be library staff that are doing the videos. So we've tried to keep it quite simple, things that you can get from the house, and then you could have a go at making them along with us.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I think when we started doing all our online stuff, that was the big thing that we were trying to learn. It's like trying to think, right, what can we get for what people will have on the house or easily be able to get hold of to be able to do these activities. So yeah, that's brilliant. And are those going to be out on your YouTube channel, is that correct?
So yeah, they're on our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, and on our Twitter channel.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
So, again, if you are following Halton Libraries, or if you're not, if you just Google Halton Libraries on any of those platforms, it's the first thing that come up. The icon is like a book bubble, I guess you could describe it, like a bookshelf in the shape of a bubble, and I'm sure you'll find it. No problem. Okay, brilliant. So what we'll do then is we'll move on to the next video. This time, again, I'm going to have a go at following along and see how I get on. I think I'm going to choose a different colour so I can have a kind of collection going up on there. So yeah, Ian, if you wouldn't mind playing that VT, we'll give the next video a go.
So we're going to take our square piece of paper and we're going to fold it into a triangle by going corner to corner very neatly, and then a nice sharp crease down the middle. Creases are really important in origami, and it helps when we come to the folding. So open it out and then do the same on the other side. So the other corner, match it up, make a nice sharp crease. So when you open it up, you have your two lines like that. Now we're going to fold it in half to make two rectangles like that. Open it up, turn it around slightly and do the same on the other side. Nice rectangle, nice sharp lines. So when you've done that, you should be able to see the lines like that, a bit like a Union Jack. And then we're going to start our folding. So fold it into a large triangle along the crease that you've already made. Fold it in half to make a smaller triangle. The next bit is slightly tricky, but not too difficult. I think anybody could manage it. All we do is we put our finger into this little flap here, and we're going to pull it towards us as we move the point down to make a square. So you have a square and a triangle. And then we turn it over and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to slide our finger into the triangle, move it towards the other side so that it lies on top of the square, and carefully flatten out the creases. Make them nice and sharp, and you'll have a square like that. Now, where the little bits are open, not the closed end, from the open end, we're going to fold this side to the centre where you can see the crease you made earlier. Again, another nice sharp crease. Turn it around and do exactly the same on the other side. I like origami because it's all so symmetrical. And then fold down the top to make a crease and open it up again. So you've got that shape like that. Okay, you with me so far? Turn it all over and do exactly the same on the other side. So take this short side here, fold it into the middle, nice sharp crease, twistle it round, exactly the same on the other side. So you've got a nice point down there, and just fold your top over, top of the kite to make a crease. Now the next bit is slightly tricky, but again I think we'll all manage it. We're going to open up these two flaps and slide our finger in there and just hold down this crease here, because we're going to bend it all over on that crease. And then using the lines you've got there, you're going to make the folds. And this is the bit that sometimes rips like that, but hopefully yours won't. And just lay it down and flatten it out so you've got a nice big diamond shape. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to open out the flaps, slide your finger underneath one layer, hold down the top bit so that you can carefully fold that one in, fold that one in, and once those are in, it's much easier to just make sure they fold along the lines that we've already put down. And if you've done that, then you've done all the difficult bits making your crane. So we should have nice flat diamonds. When you pick it up, you've got two legs like that. So it's the leg bit where you're now going to make into a thinner leg by folding this side into the centre. Squash it down, do exactly the same on the other side. Right down the centre, nice point at the bottom. So you have a shape like that, and then turn it over, and again make a nice thin leg. Turn it around, same at the side. So our shape is getting thinner and longer. We've still got the two legs at the bottom. Now we want to get rid of those, so we're going to take one of these two flaps and move it over there. So we've got one there and three there. Flip it over and take one of those three to the other side. So we've got two on each side and that shape. Then we're just going to fold this bit up along the crease that's already there. Turn it over and fold this one up. So all 4 points are at the top, a bit like a crown. And then we do the same as we did before. We take one side and we fold it over. So we've got 3 bits there and one there. Flip it over and take one of those 3 over to there. And you should see that your crane is starting to form, because as we pull now this big one down and crease it, we have a wing. And then we turn it round and we do the same on the other side. And we have the other wing. And these 2 bits are going to form the head. So we just pull it out a little bit and squash it there. And then bend it down to make a head. And the back one becomes the tail. Again, if it's not quite folded properly, just give it a bit of a squeeze. And there we have our crane. And I'm sure you'll all manage to do that at home with your square piece of paper. Any colour, then you can hang it in your window.
Perfect. Super easy to do. I got mine there done absolutely along with that. Of course, no, I'm joking. I got to about step 3, I think, before before mine fell apart. So we did have quite a few comments then Paul was just mentioning, but a great finish one there. But that's what it should look like at the end. Paul made a great comment to us that we had a lot of people asking about pausing the video and if they could rewatch it and things like that. So just a reminder, this video will be on demand. So don't worry if you are like me. This was my actual attempt and didn't manage to get it finished. I thought I was really close to the end, and then there was another 4 minutes, I think, of folding before it got to it. So if you're like me and struggled a little bit with that, do not worry. You can rewatch this video and take your time and pause it and things like that. So yeah, just bear with us. We've got loads of other cool things that we're going to be showing you and looking at. So yeah, if it was a little bit too quick for you, don't worry, as soon as this video is finished, it'll be uploaded to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter so that you can rewatch at your own time and pause it and go along with it. So awesome. So we have had 2 videos on origami. Rachel, do you have a few examples of other things that you can make once you become a little bit more of a pro at origami?
Yeah, so you can get these videos on YouTube. You can just search different origami things. So you could make a frog.
That's cute.
Or a dinosaur. And there's a little, that's a bunny rabbit for Easter. So yeah, you can just go on YouTube and get some videos from there. Or in the library we've got some origami books as well that you can take out, and they've got loads of different ideas if you do get the origami bug.
Fantastic. So, this is, I guess, a good point to bring on that the library currently in Halton is not open for you to be able to go into, but you can reserve and collect books. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We've got a choose and collect service, so you can get in contact with us, either send us an email or give us a ring, and you can order up to 10 books, and we'll check them out on your ticket and then put them out on a trolley for you. So it's all contact free and safe and secure and everything. And it's been quite good really, because you can get books that you might not have tried before, because we'll choose the books for you, or if you want to specifically ask for a specific book, we can do that as well and try and get it for you.
That'd be brilliant. I know my partner she's just finished a book, and she is relatively new to reading for pleasure, and so she was just sat there going, I don't know what I want to read yet. I don't know what, and sometimes you just looking at a bookshelf, it can be quite daunting, can't it, not knowing what author or what style you want to be reading and things like that. So that sounds like a brilliant service to be able to recommendation. I was just looking at that dinosaur one there. I know that Ian and Jimmy would be absolutely loving that. No need to go to the toy store anymore. You can just get one of those books and you can make him a raft of dinosaur origami. I'm sure he'll be loving that.
Yeah, that's my little 3-year-old son, so he would love something like that. But unfortunately, I didn't watch the instructions, so I can't follow along. But
I'm not sure how long they'd last either. You have to get really good at it. Really impressive though. From what was the name of the librarian? Sorry, it was making the origami then the video.
That was Joy.
Joy, yeah. Brilliant there from Joy. How she remembers all them different folds is beyond me to be able to do that. So that's brilliant. So one of the requests that we actually had for this year's MakeFest was around poetry. We don't have any poetry as part of MakeFest. We have got some shared reading coming up, and we've also got a creative writing session with the studio. But I believe there's a poetry event happening with the libraries. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So in March, we're having a Let's Make poetry competition. So the competition's going to be open to all ages, and it's about writing a poem around the power of books. Oh. So yeah. Fantastic. So more information about that will be coming on our social media pages soon.
Fantastic. I'm sure you've got them drilled into your head by now. We've said them a few times, haven't we? Yeah, but that's brilliant. So you're a poet, or you want to just give it a go, be sure to keep an eye out for that, and enter one into it. So we're going to be moving on to Sarah, who's been quite quiet so far on this stream. She's been managing to get away from being on camera too much, but we can see a few items on her desk there. We're going to be doing some book art in the second session of this session. You want to just give us a bit of an overview of what book art is?
That's right. So we've got two different projects today. The first one is this little hedgehog, and hopefully I've got that at the right angle. And he's quite easy, simple to make, and it's a kind of book folding project. So it's very similar to origami in that it's just about folding, but I think it's almost turns origami on its head, where you have to concentrate really hard for origami. This is much more relaxing and repetitive, and then we're going to move on to this other one, a little bit bigger. This one is a cat. Hopefully you can tell because it's got tail and whiskers. And again, another fairly easy little project to do. So that's what we're going to have a little look at today. So I'll go through what you need first of all. I think you'll be able to see the different things. So all of these projects just need a book, and this is just an old book. I've taken the cover off. You can use hardback or paperback, it doesn't matter. Once you've taken that cover off, it's the same inside, and you'll just keep the spine on. That'll just detach fairly easily, to be honest. And so we've got that kind of just a book. The hedgehog, you can get away with quite a small book, even just 100 pages, and the cat one works slightly better with a bigger book, but both of them will work with most books out there, really. As well as the book, we've got a pair of scissors and a pen and some glue. Now I've got a glue gun here, but if you haven't got a glue gun, you could just use something like PVA glue. That's absolutely fine to glue it on. It's just so it definitely sticks when we're showing it here. And then I've also got a little set of googly eyes and also a button. This will be the eyes and the nose. If you haven't got googly eyes, buttons will work for everything. You could use pom-poms, or you could actually use extra pages and just colour them in yourself on there. So very minimal things that you actually need. And although you will only be folding the pages, so you won't actually be damaging the book apart from the cover, it's probably best to use one that you don't actually need.
That's brilliant. Yeah, so we're not doing this with books that we've lent from the library. No, these are ones that you've hopefully already got at home. All right, that's brilliant. Yeah, so again, I get away with it this time. I don't have to do it. I can just watch and just say, yeah, that's easy. That looks fantastic this time. So yeah, so we're going to be starting off with the hedgehog. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. So as I said, you can either follow along now, or it is one of those projects that'll take a bit of time to actually get completed. So yeah, once you finish, you can come back to the video and catch up on anything. The first thing you're going to need to do though is to actually take off about 5 pages at the front, and they're just to help you. We'll use them for the accessories and things at the end. So we'll just detach those and put them to the side. And then the first thing is to fold the kind of shape of the body. And it's quite an easy fold. The first thing you're going to do is take the page. I've got the spine along here. Hopefully you can see that quite easily. And you're just going to fold the page in half lengthways towards the spine. And if you can just try and make sure that it's really creased so that it's nice and easy to work with. So that's your first bit, just one page and into the spine. And then you're going to take the top corner here and just fold it so that it, again, makes a little triangle against the spine there. So hopefully you can see that again. Fold it into the middle, fold the top corner down, and you're going to do exactly the same, but this time with the bottom corner. So you've got the 2 different corners there. Hopefully that's really clear, and that is your first page. Now you might notice it has just ripped a little bit at the top and the bottom. That's absolutely fine. Once you get more of the book coming through, it'll all work together. So I'm going to show you that fold again. So firstly, into the middle, fold it in half, top corner down, and bottom corner up, and always into the spine.
A little like a ramp, isn't it? A little like a ramp going.
Yeah,
going
that
up to
kind
the
of little 3-sided sort of hexagon, half a hexagon shape, and then we just fold over. And one of the tricks with book folding, we're going to do the whole of this book. So we want to actually keep pressing and breaking that spine. Now, I'm someone that I hate folding pages and breaking spines when I'm reading, but this is different. So
does it go against all your kind of like
everything,
library instincts?
Yeah. Yeah, even when I'm reading, I don't like to break a spine, and I definitely don't fold any corners over.
I was going to say, are you not a page folder when you're trying to save your page?
Not at all. No. So there we go. So hopefully you can start to see the kind of pattern of this. And as I said, the really nice thing about this is you could have, you know, the TV on, an audio book or some music or something, and it's really relaxing. It's quite a mindful sort of activity to just be doing. So it is a nice, relaxing thing to do.
Yeah, that looks great. And like you say, I think a lot of these times, I know I started doing a little bit of colouring in recently, adult colouring in and things like that. Sometimes it is just really nice to get those types of hobbies or activities where you can almost like turn off for a second, and just kind of like enjoy the process of doing it. Like why maybe got a podcast on or an audiobook even potentially in the background. That actually leads me on while you're doing that. We've got one of the things that we really wanted to talk about, as well as the click and collect service that we've got at the library at the moment. We've also got the audio and ebook reader that's available. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Rachel, while Sarah's folding some of those pages?
Yeah, certainly. So our online, our ebooks and e-audio book app is BorrowBox. So all Halton Library members get free access to BorrowBox. So you can download all the different ebooks and e-audio books that we've got available on that app. It's really good. There's some quite new books on there.
That's fantastic. I mean, I'm talking about it because you're the expert, but I do say before, and I reckon this is probably the app that I recommend to anyone more than any other book. A lot of library services have it, so if you're in Halton and you're a Halton library card owner like myself, you can log in as Halton, but I know that a lot of other libraries use this app as well, so it might be that your local library uses it as well. It's absolutely brilliant. So it works a little bit like a virtual library, doesn't it, where you can just go on and request books and it gives you them for 3 weeks at a time, but then you can renew it and get them back again. And I quite like it because I've borrowed a few books from there now. It kind of roughly knows what I'm into and can kind of make suggestions. And even the audiobooks, I've just started listening to Obama's autobiography as well, and I had to wait ages for that one though. That one was a really popular one. So again, a little bit like a real library. Sometimes if the title that you want is out by someone else, you've got to wait for it to come into stock and things, but loads and loads of stuff on there to choose from. So yeah, that's brilliant. BorrowBox, definitely recommend downloading that and having a look at that. So we'll jump back over to Sarah now, see how we're getting on.
Yeah, so you can see I've got the kind of shape starting to get out there now, and you can see those pages. So that is just exactly that same fold all the way through. So I'll just do that fold once more so that if you're following along right now, you've got it. So into the middle and crease along the top corner to the spine and bottom corner to the spine, like that. So, like I say, take your time with it, enjoy it, and you're going to get through the whole book. So I'm just going to do a seamless swap there that shows you what it's going to look like as you get through the book. So you can see it's much more of a rigid shape now. It's really coming together, and I've just got the last few pages to do. As you get towards the end of the book, what you will find is that it does get a little bit trickier to do. You really need to pull the page back to get into it, but that's fine. They can take a little bit of manhandling, and it's all just about kind of pushing those creases and really forming that shape of the book. And it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. In fact, if you zoom in, you'll probably see some of these are not quite exact. They're not all exactly the same fold because I've done it a millimetre or two out, and that's fine. It's not a problem at all. And you might find if you've used a really, really thick book, so here I'm now up to around about 100 pages of this book, and I've got that shape that I need. That's absolutely fine. You can actually pull away some of these extra pages, and they should hopefully detach fairly easily for you to just use those. And in fact, you probably don't want to make it much thicker because it will start becoming more of a cylinder shape, and we want to have our hedgehog flat on the ground. So that's what he's going to look like now, and he just rests some of those triangles you just need to tuck in like that. So we're now up to the ears and eyes and nose, little accessories, and if you wanted to add anything else, then you could do as well at this point. And that's what you'll need your spare pages for. So what you're going to need for the ears is a kind of large teardrop shape. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. And hedgehogs have got quite small ears, so we want them around about that sort of shape. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to cut it out. And to make sure that the ears are nice and symmetrical, I'm going to cut it out over 2 pages.
Clever. I definitely wouldn't have thought of that. I'm doing 2 separate ones. I'd love a bit of book art. I remember for an event that I did recently, I was doing some roses made of books and things like that, and so there's tons and tons of different. There wasn't much folding in that. A little bit actually, but it was kind of making the petals and a lot of hot gluing and a lot of burning my fingers as I was doing it. But they looked great. There's tons of different types of book art.
If you look online, you can just search on YouTube. There's hundreds and hundreds of different projects. These are 2 quite easy ones. They get really, really complicated. And these ones are more folding. You can get some that are much more kind of cutting, and you cut out the edges. So what I've done there is I've taken that teardrop shape and I'm just folding it in half at the bottom. So I'm kind of pinching it. So I've got that kind of cone type shape. And what's really nice about this is that the pages are in position enough that you can actually just test out where you want to put the ears before you actually glue them down. So I'm going to actually look at it. So you can make sure that you're happy, and your hedgehog needs ears sort of on the side of his face. So yeah, and if they're not perfect, then that's fine. It's just a little bit quirky, which will add character to your hedgehog. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the end of those ears, and again pop them in and just squash them down where I want them to be.
How long have you been making book art, Sarah?
Not very long at all. It's a really easy one to pick up. You don't need to have done it before, and these projects are really kind of straightforward and simple. So yeah, anyone can do it at all.
I always think, like, when I was younger, I feel like the job role of a librarian must have changed so dramatically from years ago. Long gone are the images of people shushing people as they walk around the library. Such kind of like vibrant, interesting places that are a real hub of a lot of communities. We've had the privilege of working in libraries across the Northwest, and no 2 are the same. They're always really different. You've got the ability for people to get onto computers. You've got obviously all the books, also a range of media, and borrow box, like we said as well. So like even not in times like this where you're not physically able to get into the library, still so many different elements that kind of make up a library. And I think that they are really important people to a lot of members of the community as a place that you can go. I always think, like, if libraries never existed and you came up with the idea of a library now, it would just never get through. Like, this idea where you can get all this knowledge and all this information for free of charge. It's just like such a brilliant thing that I think that sometimes we can forget about a little bit. So yeah, I'm a massive fan, and just seeing you guys do all this today just goes to show like how creative you have to be these days as a librarian.
Yeah. Right, so you can see I've got the eyes and ears on now, so he's pretty much made, and you could actually leave it there if you haven't got anything else. And as I said, you could just make the eyes, just draw some black circles on your page and make the eyes yourself out of the book. And then I've just got the final touch, which is the little nose, and I've just used a little gold button for that. And my little ear's falling off. I need to add a bit more glue.
Yeah. More glue is always the way.
Yeah. So yeah, really simple, quirky, and it looks like it took much more effort than it actually did to make. So that's my hedgehog.
Wow, massive! I'd give you a round of applause, but I think the mics in here might explode if I did that. But yeah, that's brilliant. Before we jump on to the next one, just thought we'd pop over to Paul, see if we've had any comments or interesting suggestions or things come through. Yes, fantastic.
So going back to the origami, we've had a question from Learning Lab asking, have you made any origami dogs?
Oh, today's my first go at doing it. Is it Joy? Joy's the librarian, isn't it? That was doing the videos. She looks like an absolute pro with some of the ones that she put there. You seen her do any dogs before?
I've not seen her do any dogs, no, but she's only recently started learning it as well.
Really?
So you can pick it up quite quickly.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were asking specifically for King's Charles Spaniel. But yeah, origami dogs. We've had quite a few comments saying people love book art, they've done it before. It's just loads. People going saying they're going to be doing it over half term. Just lots of love, to be fair, from everyone saying it's been really, really good.
That's superb. That's what we like. That's what we like to hear. So Paul's going to be trying to answer your questions himself as in the comments, but there might be the occasional one that he doesn't know the answer to, and so we'll continue to go back to Paul. If he waves his hands around, going, "I've got something that I need to ask you," then we'll pop back to Paul to do it.
Some ratings as well. Sorry,
of my first one. Let's not do the ratings of the second one. I'm quite happy with this one.
Yeah, we've had KX King gave you 9 out of 10.
Oh, thank you very much.
We had, if memory serves me correctly, I'm just scrolling through, someone did give you 100 out of 10 for that
100
one.
out of 10. Fantastic.
I can't find who it was, but somebody oh, there we go, Learning Lab gave you 100 out of 10 for that one.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Learning Lab, for the for being so involved in the comments. Yeah, so if you have any comments or any thoughts on anything, just give us a this was my fake one that I did. I didn't do this Joy. I think I put this one together. That was, yeah, we're not going to do the ratings for my more work needed. So just before we move on to the next one, obviously it's half term this week, and I'm sure hopefully you've all signed up for all the activities that we're doing here. But I know that Halton Libraries have also got some activity packs for people in Halton. Is that correct? During half term?
Yeah, that's it. I've got one here.
Oh, brilliant.
It's that one. So in the activity pack, there's lots of different activities that you can do at home. So like word searches, reading challenge. We've got a jumping frog origami in there as well.
Oh, superb. Some more origami.
So yeah, and then some like a make your own comic. And then we've got things about a science experiment if you want to do a science experiment at home, and a make your own jigsaw. So they can be collected from Widnes and Halton Lee Library just through our Choose and Collect.
That's awesome. So, I saw the Borough of Culture logo on there, and I know we mentioned it earlier on, but yeah, massive thanks to Borough of Culture, one of the sponsors and supporters of this that's made it possible to work with MakeFest this year in Halton. So, yeah, lots and lots and lots of exciting things coming up throughout the year as part of Borough of Culture. We are pretty much, I think, one of the first events that's kicking it off, but Halton is Borough of Culture 2021, so there'll be loads of cool things going on all the way throughout the year, and I'm sure that they've got a website which is celebratehalton.co.uk or .com, one of those. If you Google Celebrate Halton, you'll be able to find it. But yeah, with all the events and different things that are coming up through there. So let's move on to our second book folding project that we're going to be doing today.
Yep, that's great. So this time we're going to have a little go at this cat, complete with his tail at the back that you can't quite see. And this one's a little bit trickier. There's a couple of elements to the folds. So if you've not done one before, then I'd start off with the hedgehog. But if you have done a little bit of book folding, which I think some people had said they had, then the cat is a nice one to move on to. And again, it starts very similar. We've just got a book here with the cover removed. I've also got a pen and scissors, and then a few bits of accessories, I guess you go for. So I've got a couple of googly eyes and buttons, and also a little bit of string. That's going to be the whiskers. And you can see on my original one, I've actually used pipe cleaners instead. So anything you've got, if you've got some craft kit at home, pipe cleaners or pom-poms or anything at all to decorate your cat, then that's absolutely fine for those. And that's what you'll need. And again, glue, I've got my glue gun, but you can use PVA glue. That works just as well for this one.
It's a slightly bigger book, is it, this time than the last one?
Yeah, that's right.
About 100 pages for the hedgehog, was that right? And then how many for the cat?
So this one, around about 300, anything from 300. And it's because this one's obviously kind of a half shape, it lies flat on the table. This one is a full 360
Stands
kind of
up on
model,
its own,
so that's why you
doesn't it?
need a
Yeah.
little bit of a bigger one. It will still work with a smaller book. It just won't be as full. So we're going to have a little go at this one. So again, the first thing you need to do is take about 5 pages off, and we're going to use those at the end for the accessories. So again, you can just pull those off. And then, as I said, there's kind of 2 different elements to this fold. And the first one is that you kind of need to open the book up and take the top, it'd be my left, I don't know how easy that'll be to see on yours, top corner, and you're going to fold it into a bit of a triangle like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see already that one's not perfect. And in fact, what you can find is that it's easier to tuck it under, make sure that it's touching the spine there, and then fold over the top. I actually find that's a little bit easier because you're leaning on the thicker bit of the book rather than the thinner bit of the book. So that's the kind of first stage, folding that top corner down. And then the second stage is you're going to need to peel that back. So you need to make sure that your crease is nice and clear, that you've made it really distinctive, because that line is now going to need to move to the spine. So just push it up, fold it in, and then once it's along the spine, you can get it along there. It does break at the top. Sometimes it rips, sometimes it folds a bit funny, but it's all absolutely fine. Do not worry about that at all. Adds character, if nothing else. And then the last little bit of this is you've got this end that's just kind of sticking out across the top of my book, and I want to stand it up on the table. So I'm just going to fold that extra bit underneath. So that's our 2 little bits. So I'm going to go through that a few times just so you can see what's going on. So we've folded our top corner down. We take that line and we line it up with the spine, squashing it down, and then lifting up that bottom bit there.
Just watching that, it just makes me wonder. It's like, how did somebody find this out in the first place? What were they doing to kind of go?
Didn't invent it.
This will make a great pattern. It blows my mind. I've had a look online, and there are so many different types. As we were talking about with book art, there's ones where I've seen ones where they actually kind of managed to write words in the folds and things like that in the creases. I've seen some Harry Potter ones and things like that where it's kind of like they're spelling out words, and like just the mind boggles about how you kind of like are able to pinpoint how high and how low they need to be, the folds and things like that as you're going along.
Yeah, there's some very, very complex bits. So as I said, I prefer to kind of tuck that fold in so that you've got it, but you should, let me do that again. You should be able to do it either way. There we go.
That's good to know, though. So if you do make a mistake or it's not quite right, you just simply go back over it and just do it again.
Yeah, the pages are designed to kind of be nice and easy to crease and change. So yeah, anything that goes wrong, that's the nice thing about these projects is it's not, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that you don't need your full concentration on it. And yeah, you can. I mean, it might even be easier for some people to go from the back to do that first fold. Do that on a few pages and then go back to the other one. So yeah, it doesn't matter which direction you do it in, as long as you've got those 3 pieces. So I'll just do one more so you can see exactly what it is again. So take a page, fold that corner back down. So you've got this sort of a shape. Peel it back a little bit so you can see that line. And then match it up with the spine, fold it down, and tuck it in.
I feel like this is a bit more my speed, to be honest with you, in terms of for doing it. Yeah, but you need to. I think I need to know the same thing about 5 times before it actually sinks in for me to do it. Yeah,
that's what's really nice about it, and you can just kind of go through the rest of that book. So it is going to take you quite a while, and that's part of the nice thing of book folding is that it's there for you to just while away some time.
Yeah, you could come back to it obviously as well. It's not something that you need to do in one sitting. You could,
definitely, yeah. Right, so as you can see, I've got this next one which I've just kind of carried on a little bit more, I've done it a bit earlier, and I'm nearly round to the end. And you can see, again, you can see a little bit more where this has gone a bit rough and not every crease is exactly the same. Some of the little bits are broken at the top, but the general idea is that it's, you know, it's going to stand up, and you can always buff out those creases as you need. Now, this one does get a little bit more tricky as you go round, because we've got the whole spine that we've made into basically a circle. So it is a bit harder to do, and it gets harder as you get through the book, which is why I thought I'll show you. That was really easy, and this one isn't so easy, but you just need to do exactly the same thing. So again, fold into the spine.
Yeah, you can definitely see that you're starting to have to wrestle with it a little bit more on these final pages to get it
Yeah,
done.
so it needs a little bit of strength. And you can see also I'm squashing it down, and there's no way around that really, but it will come out, so don't worry too much if you are squashing it down. You will get there, and you'll also spot I keep forgetting to tuck the end in. That's another bit you can go back and do at the end if you need.
I bet at this point, to be fair though, when you've got all the way through a book like that, I bet this end bit, I bet you're just powering through because you're like, I'm so close.
Into a rhythm, yeah.
I'm so close. I've got to get it done now. I'm getting it done. Like,
yeah,
I get like that reading a book when I'm like 50 pages from the end. I'm like, I've got to finish this now. That's it. Yeah, I can't put this back down again.
So yeah, and I think it gets a bit messier as well as you get further along, and that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter at all. So you can see I've come all the way around, and you can't even tell that is the end of the book. And I can just now go back, check anything that's come a little bit unfolded, and then if I've got a particular piece that's sticking out and not maybe as flat as the others, then I can just cut it off. So if I find a little piece that's sticking out like this one, you can just trim that top bit off, and that'll make it a bit flatter to work with for your next bit.
A little bit of cosmetic surgery.
Yes. Yeah. So now you're going to look and just choose which bit you think looks the nicest. So I've got a little bit of a crease there, so I probably won't use that. And there's other bits that I've obviously folded down a little bit. So I'll make sure I've got a nice little front bit, so probably this bit here. And then I'm ready for, again, accessories, so ears and whiskers and tail and things. So that's when you're going to need your pages from earlier. And the ears are nice and easy. All you're going to do is take your pencil and, hang on, make sure I get the pages that are nice and separate. Draw a triangle. Well, I say draw a triangle, you're just drawing a line, and the other two sides of the book corner are going to become your triangle. I love how good you are at that at saving time. Like, I'm not drawing a full triangle. Yeah, don't do any more work than you have to. And again, I've got 2 pages there, so that I can just cut the ears off. And it's up to you how big you make your ears. Those are quite small. You can make them a little bit bigger. So I've got my book corner there. And what I'll want to do is have the longest edge, so the edge that I just drew, that's going to go outside so that you've got enough space to add your ears on. And again, you can test these out because the book pages will stand up for you while you want it. So I can see here, I don't really like this front bit, so I'm going to swap it around. So that I've got, my ears sort of there. But it's up to you really how much you, where you want your ears and how you want them around. But I've just done the longest edge, kind of vertical would be the word. So I can do those when I'm happy. Again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down the corner. Hopefully you can see that. And just squish it in. Do be really careful if you are using hot glue.
Yeah, like you said earlier, I imagine pretty much any prick stick or standard PVA glue.
Yeah, because you can see even when I'm just placing these in, they stick. Most of it sticks without even any glue.
Yeah.
So it's just to get that, but I thought you use it so it doesn't fall off. And then the next bit is the tail. So you might be able to see the tail on here. I've got a number of different pages to make it like quite a little bushy effect. And it's really easy to do. You're going to draw this sort of shape onto your spare pages. So hopefully this will go right now. So it's quite large, but it's up to you how big you want the tail to be. So it's got like a kind of S shape. And the important bit is this bit at the end here, because we want a nice bit to actually glue in and secure to the book. So that's going to be quite flat. There we go. So just a basic sort of tail shape. And again, I've got 4 pages here, so I can just cut around at the same time.
Fantastic. Again, I'd be like that. This is a bit that I'd mess up after after hours of folding and getting it all right. I feel like
and you can see I've taken some extra pages out than I actually need. You know, you can take 10 out, and then if it does go wrong, you can reuse them or.
I guess like you said at the beginning as well, you can use anything that you've got in your existing crafts pot and things like that. So you might have pipe cleaners, or you might have something else, a feather duster, something like that. Trying to glue in.
Be creative and do what you want. Or even if you do run out of pages, you could use newspaper. You could use any other craft paper. Something like tissue paper might be quite effective as well. So I've then got my kind of bushy tails, and I'm just going to choose some pages to put these in, and it's just putting them each in one page towards the back. So a little bit of glue. And then stick it in, and hopefully you might be able to see that I'm just using that bottom, the little bit that we folded up to help me, and then the next one just to glue it together. So this will also help the shape of your book as well. So I've got one there, and then we just repeat that.
Fantastic. While you're just putting them finishing touches to that, we'll just jump over to Rachel. I believe that you've been doing some Facebook Lives of yourself. Well, not of yourself, but of the library. Sorry, I mean, you might have been doing them. You tell me about what's been going on. What have you been broadcasting recently from Halton Libraries?
So for the last month, we've been doing Facebook Live story time, and that's on a Wednesday at 11:30. So this week we've got Emma, and she's reading Anne of Green Gables. So that's a nice, quite like family story, probably suitable for like probably 7, 8 years old.
Fantastic. And is it a kind of mix each week? Do you change the age range, or is it kind of a standard age range that you go for? Yeah, probably like 7 to 10 years old. Last week we had Richard, and he was reading David Walliams, so there was quite a lot of trumping, and the week before he did one where he was being sick quite a bit. But they're quite funny stories. Fantastic. I think I've seen a few of Richard ones where he's been going out live. He seems to be a real character. And one for doing it. Is he the star? Is it one star? Or is it a full team effort for when you go out live? Or
so we've just got like 3 or 4 of us just taking turns doing it.
Fantastic. Brilliant. All right. So I think let's come back to the cat there. I think we're pretty much there. I just saw an eye going on.
So I've just done the eyes. And you can see there as well, and the tail is now on, and the eye is exactly the same as the hedgehog. We just glue the back of them and then stick them on, and so I just thought I'd finish with the whiskers. So you can see on this one I just glued the pipe cleaners on, but you do have to be really careful if you're using hot glue. So I've just got a different style to just show you, and I'm using a black button, which doesn't really help on the camera, so I'll put that page down. So I've just got quite a big button there, and I'm going to put some glue on the back of it. And then I've cut some string for the whiskers, and I'm just going to place it down. I'm going to do like a little cross shape. And then one across the middle. So I've got my kind of basic whiskery outline, and then a little bit of glue on top. There we go, and then I can just place, so it just saves your fingers if you're using hot glue,
How have you got on today? Have you had any burns?
I'm good. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were just being really brave and just like holding in the screams of hot
No, I've avoided it all. And the trick I found is, I think it looks a little bit better with the whiskers quite close to the eyes. I started it off down there, but you can place them wherever you feel really and what you want to do. And add your own accessories. If you want a little collar or something like that, then you can, it's your creation, and that's all you need to do. So that is our completed cut.
Wow. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna give you a round of applause for that one. That's brilliant. Well done. Fantastically explained. Just before we move on, I'll just come to Paul to see if we had any questions or any comments on that section that you want to ask to Sarah.
We've had no questions up to now, I don't think. I put a little question out there to say which was people's favourites, the hedgehog or the cat. We've had quite a few people saying the hedgehog,
he is
but the
cute,
cat. Yeah. They have said the cat is adorable, but the hedgehog. We've had Emma. The cat is adorable. We've also had Gemma as well. The hedgehog. But both are impressive, and we've just had a comment just this minute saying can't decide, they're both great.
Oh, thank you.
And going over to YouTube, we've had an ex-English teacher comment saying she can't quite bring herself to destroy a book, so we'll be using a bound notebook instead. And then we've had quite a bit of debate about what watch you've got on.
It's a Fitbit.
And Learning Lab has commented saying you've got the same Fitbit as them.
Fantastic. I wonder how much energy has been excused from all that paper folding and things like that. Well, brilliant. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned in to watch our first Facebook, YouTube and Twitter live stream of Halton MakeFest 2021. A massive thank you to Halton Libraries for coming in and showing us origami and book art. And yeah, as we said before, remember, if you are still working on yours or you want to recap something, go back and watch it again. You can pause it then or slow it down and kind of take your time as you are going through it. And yeah, still leave us a comment. We're going to keep an eye on the comments and things like that. So if we get any comments or questions through there, let us know. I've just seen on the screen there, yeah, send us your pictures, send us your creations to Halton Libraries Twitter, and also our own Facebook and Instagram and Twitter accounts. But make sure that we are using the hashtag. There we go. We've got the Facebook and the hashtag, which is HaltonMF21. So yeah, if you're making, even if it's just the process of you doing it, send us some pictures in, and we'll see if we can get some of them up on the other streams and things like that as we're going. But yeah, just to say another massive thank you from myself, everyone here at Mako and the Halton MakeFest team. And again, thanks very much to the library. Let's give them a big round of applause, guys, because I think they've done amazing today. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, well, again, thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Our next stream is 3 p.m, and we are going to be working with A Place for Us and Natalie McCool doing a songwriting session. So we're going to be looking at one of her songs called Pins and deconstructing how she wrote it. And yeah, a great one for any musicians or anyone interested in writing their own songs. That's going live at 3 p.m. today. But for now, over and out. See you all later.